made me the greatest player of all time. And then after I stopped, I was like, that one right there made you the greatest player of all time.
Do you think LeBron James feels the heat from Steph Curry? Whenever people argue about who the GOAT of the NBA is today, most answers roll off the tongue easily. But let's be real. If Steph Curry never stepped onto a court, if the baby-faced assassin never taught the world that shooting from deep could break defenses in half, the story of basketball today would look completely different. Without Steph's revolution, LeBron James would have ruled the modern NBA era without question. The GOAT talk would start and end with his name. The stats, the trophies, the highlight reels, everything was falling perfectly into place for LeBron to sit on the throne forever. But then, number 30 showed up, smiling, fearless, and ready to shake the league to its core. And with every jaw-dropping three-pointer, Steph slowly took away the one thing LeBron craved the most, the uncontested title of basketball's greatest. Let's rewind to 2014, the year LeBron's legacy seemed unstoppable. At 30 years old, he was deep in his prime, fresh off 4 straight finals runs, and the entire league revolved around him. Every championship dream had to pass through King James. And once again, the setup looked perfect. A brand new team built just for him, featuring 2 all-NBA talents ready to ride alongside their leader.
We're looking at right here is the best of all of them.
Michael Jordan had 3 rings by that age, and LeBron already had 2. The gap was close, and it looked like destiny was about to do the rest. But destiny had another plan, and its name was Steph Curry. Cleveland came into the 2015 season with the whole basketball world watching. The Cavs were the clear favorites to win it all, and right at the center of the storm stood LeBron James, confident, focused, and surrounded by an army of talent ready to claim the throne. It felt like the stars had finally lined up for him. He was stronger, smarter, and playing some of the best basketball anyone had ever seen. The next step toward catching Michael Jordan didn't just feel close, it felt inevitable. But that's when Steph Curry exploded onto the scene. This quiet, smooth shooting guard turned the NBA upside down in the blink of an eye. Over the next 4 years, LeBron fought his way into 4 straight finals, which on paper sounds legendary. But the final scoreboard told a crueler truth. 1 tight loss, 1 glorious championship, then a gentleman's sweep, and finally a full-on sweep.
That's to show that it's close, but in my opinion, Curry's impact has been far greater than LeBron's.
1 title in 4 tries, and every heartbreak, every defeat, all pointed back to one man, Wardell's Stephen Curry. Without Steph, the Golden State Warriors never morphed into the unstoppable machine that terrorized the league. Without him, there's no 3-point revolution, no dynasty, and no reason for Kevin Durant to ever join that powerhouse squad. Curry didn't just change the game, he changed LeBron's destiny. Now, don't get it twisted. LeBron wasn't some washed-up player. Far from it. What he did in 2016, dragging Cleveland from a 3-1 hole to take down a 73-win Warriors team, remains one of the most epic comebacks in sports history. But when people debate the GOAT, there's no escaping the math. A 1-4 finals record in his prime, with a roster built to dominate, left a mark that even LeBron's greatness couldn't fully erase. But here's the wild part. If Steph Curry never existed, LeBron James's entire career might look like a completely different story. Imagine a timeline where Steph never picked up a basketball, never pulled up from half court with that fearless grin. In that version of the NBA, LeBron probably dominates the league from start to finish, stacking trophies like it's nothing. There's a very real chance that without Curry, LeBron racks up 4 straight championships during that golden stretch, walking away with 7 rings, 7 titles, and 7 finals MVPs. That kind of record would have shattered the debate. LeBron would have stood above Jordan in most GOAT conversations, no questions asked.
Michael Jordan of Michael Jordan.
Of Michael Jordan.
To Michael Jordan.
But that dream world never existed because Steph Curry did. His arrival rewrote basketball history. Instead of 7 finals wins, LeBron ended up sitting at 4. And instead of 3 losses, he's got 6. That single shift completely wrecked the math in the GOAT debate. Once that finals record hit 4-6, the numbers stopped working in LeBron's favor. No matter what he adds to his resume now, more points, more assists, more milestones, that finals record lingers like a shadow he can't outrun. Curry didn't just slow LeBron down, he dealt a fatal blow to his GOAT campaign. He changed the entire legacy race with every deep shot and every championship parade in the Bay. And the craziest part? The damage wasn't just about rings or stats, it cut deeper than that. Sadly, to really get it, you gotta look back at how greatness was built before. Everyone knows Michael Jordan's 6-0 finals record. It's untouchable. That stat alone holds enough power to keep him on top of almost every debate, but what people forget is the pain and grind before he became unstoppable. Did you know that before MJ turned into the ultimate winner, he got bounced out of the playoffs 3 years in a row by the same team? In 1988, after Jordan won both MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, he ran straight into the Detroit Pistons and the Bad Boys led by Isaiah Thomas and got crushed 4-1. The next year it got closer, but the Pistons still shut him down 4-2. Those losses burned Jordan until he figured out how to break through, and that's when the legend was born. But LeBron, his Bad Boys moment had a name: Steph Curry. In 1990, the battles between Michael Jordan and the Pistons got tighter, more intense, and more personal. But the outcome didn't change. 3 straight playoff exits. Same opponent, same heartbreak, same brutal wall to climb. That's what real adversity looks like. But here's the key. Jordan didn't run from it. He didn't chase an easier path or jump to another team for help. He faced his demons head on, took every loss personally, and turned that pain into pure fire. Then, in year 4, everything changed. Jordan broke through the wall that had haunted him for years, and once he did, he owned the league.
NBA Finals, but he's in a position to win his 3rd straight NBA championship.
It took years of heartbreak, frustration, and doubt, but Jordan learned from every single loss until he figured out how to win it all. After that, there was no turning back. He never looked behind him again. And honestly, this part isn't even just about championships or stats. It's about character. It's about how a man reacts when life smacks him down and the universe says, no. Jordan didn't dodge the storm. He walked straight into it, rose above the chaos, and conquered everything in his path. Now, compare that to LeBron James in 2010. When he first left Cleveland for Miami to build a super team, he was just 25, young, ambitious, and hungry to win. Fine. People understood it. He wanted help, and it paid off eventually. But fast forward to 2014. LeBron's 29, a full-grown superstar, fresh off another crushing finals loss, and he leaves again. This time, it wasn't just about finding help. It was about escaping the pain of losing. For someone chasing GOAT status, that move hit differently. When you're supposed to be the king, you can't just pack up the crown and go home after taking a loss. And let's be real. If Cleveland didn't have Kyrie Irving already there, or if they weren't perfectly set up to trade for Kevin Love, that return home story probably never happens. Sure, it made for a great headline, but it was also a carefully chosen setup for another title run. But even with that perfect script, destiny had another twist waiting. Steph Curry and the Warriors. Just like the Pistons were Jordan's wall, and just like the Celtics and Spurs blocked young LeBron in the early days, Golden State became the next unstoppable force standing in his way. And when the climb got steep again, when the pressure started to rise and age 33 started to whisper, LeBron packed up once more, and this time heading west to Los Angeles. Now, don't get it twisted. Nobody's saying LeBron James didn't compete or give everything he had on the court. The man's a warrior, no question about that. But it's impossible to ignore the pattern. Every time the walls started closing in, LeBron looked for a better setup. Leaving once? Understandable. Twice? That raises eyebrows. But leaving 3 times? That starts to say something deeper about who you are when the pressure hits. Now look at Steph Curry in 2019. He loses in the finals, his dynasty seemingly crumbling before everyone's eyes. Then in 2020, he gets hurt, the team falls apart. And in 2021, the Warriors don't even make the playoffs. Knocked out in the play-in. That's real adversity. But here's the difference. Steph didn't run. He didn't recruit another superstar to bail him out, didn't pack his bags, didn't chase a softer landing spot. He stayed right where he was, absorbed every loss, every doubt, every headline calling the dynasty done.
He passed the ball. I think LeBron is a complete player. He played both ends.
And then he came back swinging. When he finally rose again, he delivered one of the coldest, most confident post-game lines ever heard. Words that sent chills through the league. He said it, meant it, and lived it. With that trademark grin and unshakable confidence, Steph climbed all the way back to the mountaintop and gave fans a performance that reminded everyone exactly who he is, a champion with ice in his veins. That comeback wasn't luck, it was legacy. So strip away the awards, the numbers, the stats, and just look at the story. Look at how each man handled resistance when life punched back. Steph's journey reads like the kind of hero story people dream about.
I agree that if Steph and Curry didn't exist, LeBron would probably be the unanimous best player of all time.
pain, doubt, redemption, and triumph. That's the DNA of greatness. And that's why people are starting to whisper a bold question. How can LeBron be called the greatest of all time when a man from his own era lived out a stronger, tougher, more inspiring champion story? But hold on, that's not even the biggest way Steph changed LeBron's GOAT case. Because the real damage didn't come from finals losses, it came from influence. Take a look at this kid right here. You already know what he's about to do next. He's not trying to bulldoze anyone in the paint or back a defender down like LeBron. No, he's stepping back, raising that ball high, and pulling up from deep. Why? Because that's what he's grown up watching. He's copying Steph Curry. His rhythm, his release, his swagger. And that one detail, it matters more than people think.
You don't just leave an abandoned ship and then get the band of merry men to start up again. You don't do that. You created this monster that was called the Miami Heatles. Now you got to finish it up.
It's not that players don't respect LeBron. They absolutely do. Most pros admire him, coaches praise him, and a huge chunk of fans still call him the king. But here's the truth. LeBron's greatness is built on rare physical gifts that only a few humans could ever dream of having. You can respect that kind of power, but you can't really relate to it. Steph, though, Steph feels reachable. His greatness is made of skill, touch, timing, and unshakable confidence. All things kids can practice, things they can see themselves doing. That's why when today's generation hits the court, they don't want to be the biggest. They want to be the coldest. Steph Curry didn't just win games. He changed the DNA of basketball forever. His rise wasn't just a highlight reel of deep threes. It was a cultural earthquake that shook every level of the game. From street courts to pro arenas, the entire vibe of basketball flipped because of him. Before Steph, everyone wanted to dunk like LeBron, dominate like Shaq, or fly like Jordan. But now, every kid wants to pull up from half court with a smile, hands still in the air, walking away before the ball even touches the net. That's how deep Curry's influence runs. You go to any gym, any high school practice, even a pickup run at the park, and you'll hear someone yelling, "Curry!" as they launch a wild three-pointer. It's not just a move anymore, it's a mindset. He made shooting cool, made skill look like power, and turned precision into swagger. LeBron made people respect greatness. Steph made people believe they could reach it, and that's the real legacy shift that LeBron can't compete with. His path to dominance came through sheer size, speed, and strength. Tools only a handful of humans on the planet could ever hope to match. But Steph's blueprint, that's universal. It's about repetition, rhythm, and guts.
Don't want to see us next year.
Kids don't need to be 6'8" or have a 40-inch vertical to dream big. They just need a ball, a hoop, and the confidence to shoot their shot. That's how Curry became more than a player, or he became a movement. Even the NBA had to adjust. Teams built entire rosters around shooting because of him. Centers started learning how to stretch the floor, point guards became snipers, and suddenly every coach in the league was preaching spacing and pace. The Warriors didn't just win titles, they reprogrammed basketball strategy from top to bottom. And through it all, LeBron watched the game he once controlled start to shift away from his hands. The league that once revolved around his power plays and highlight dunks became a shooter's paradise, a world built for Steph Curry's magic touch. Every new MVP candidate that comes up now, from Luka to Trey to Ja, owes something to the style Curry created. It's wild when you think about it. LeBron might go down as one of the most physically dominant athletes in sports history, but Steph Curry redefined what dominance even means. He proved you can destroy defenses without brute strength, that finesse can be louder than force, and that confidence can change a generation. So now, when kids pick up a ball, they don't dream about being the biggest or the fastest anymore. They dream about hitting from the logo, about that perfect swish that makes the crowd go wild. That's the Steph effect. Quiet confidence, deadly skill, and a legacy built not just on trophies, but on inspiration. When you zoom out and really look at the full picture, everything starts to make sense. Steph Curry didn't just compete with LeBron James, he beat him more often when it mattered the most. On the biggest stage, under the brightest lights, Steph walked away the winner more times, and now he doesn't just hold the edge in rings, he owns the narrative. His story hits harder, feels more complete, more human. But beyond all that, Steph owns something even more powerful. The culture. People didn't just watch Steph, they copied him. It wasn't only kids in their driveways shooting with bad form yelling Curry. It was the entire NBA shifting around his game. Before Steph came along, coaches hated long-distance threes. If you pulled up from 30 feet out, you were getting benched immediately. But after Steph, those same shots became part of the playbook. Suddenly, bad shots became smart offense, spacing stretched wider, floor movement exploded, and even the big men, at once told to just rebound and dunk, were now being asked to shoot threes. Entire offenses got rewritten, not because of analytics or theory, but because one man proved that this wild new style could actually win championships. And when that happened, the NBA evolved right before our eyes. You can't talk about the GOAT debate and skip this part because greatness isn't just about stats or trophies anymore. It's about influence. In LeBron's era, the player everyone wanted to be wasn't LeBron James. It was Steph Curry. The 90s were built in Jordan's image. Flashy, fierce, dominant. But this modern era, it's built in Steph's image, skill-based, creative, confident, and limitless. That's a cultural legacy LeBron never fully captured, no matter how many points or rings he stacked up. And you can even see it in LeBron's own words. Remember that moment when LeBron called himself the greatest of all time after the 2016 finals? Listen closely. Did he even sound like he believed it himself? Watch the clip. His eyes drop, his tone softens, the energy feels off. Fans caught it instantly. The comments went crazy. One said, "He doesn't even believe it. Look how he stares at the floor when he says it." Another joked, "Man, the room got quiet real fast." And then came the savage one. "Remember when you went 0 for 5 in the final minutes of Game 7 and Kyrie had to hit that cold-blooded step-back 3 over Steph while you watched from the corner? That's when you knew you were the greatest of all time." It's moments like those that sting, because even in his greatest win, the shadow of Steph Curry never really left LeBron's side. Answer me this. How can LeBron James still claim the GOAT crown when Steph Curry has outshined him in nearly every category that's supposed to define greatness? Steph's got more wins against him on the biggest stage, a stronger champion's mentality, a cleaner story, and a generation of kids who all want to be him. And come on, we can't skip over the flopping, because seriously, GOATs don't do that. Watching some of those moments, it's hard not to laugh. Like, if you're the greatest of all time, why are you out here selling contact like it's a movie audition? Now, sure, LeBron's got records, a lot of them, but dig a little deeper, and the pattern gets weird. Remember the night he passed Kareem to become the NBA's all-time leading scorer? The Lakers lost that game. The night he became the first player ever with 30,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 10,000 assists, another loss. Even when he hit 40,000 career points, huge milestone history made, the scoreboard said the same thing. Another defeat. It's almost spooky. So many of LeBron's greatest individual moments didn't end in celebration. They ended in defeat. Meanwhile, look at Steph. When he makes history, his moments come wrapped in wins, championships, MVPs, unforgettable playoff runs. The man turns milestones into fireworks shows. That's the difference between achievement and impact. One collects stats, the other collects memories that never fade. And let's not forget the recent Olympics. Sure, LeBron took home the MVP, but what did everyone actually talk about afterward? Steph's clutch shooting, his leadership, his energy. Even when they share the same stage, Steph finds a way to shine brighter. It's wild how every time LeBron breaks another record, it feels like Steph just quietly reminds the world who really owns the moment. That's why this GOAT talk needs a serious reset. For years, everyone's argued Jordan versus LeBron like nobody else even deserves a seat at the table. But when you look closely, the finals matchups, the cultural impact, the global influence, Steph Curry's case starts looking too strong to ignore. The man who redefined modern basketball didn't just compete with LeBron, he surpassed him in the areas that matter most. So here's the uncomfortable truth. If Steph Curry really outperformed LeBron James, the guy most people rank right behind Michael Jordan, then where does Steph actually belong on the all-time list? Maybe he's not above MJ yet. But pretending he doesn't belong right behind him feels impossible now. The game changed because of him. The culture changed because of him. And the legacy race may never be the same again. If you made it this far, hit that like, share, and subscribe button for more stories just like this. Only on Ball Stories. More drama, more legacy talk, more truth. We're just getting started. Peace.